All right, so today we're going to walk you through an easy, quick way to order using our SampleKinect online system. So what you're looking at right now is our test environment with a whole bunch of fake samples and fake data. So right now we're on the home screen. When you begin using SampleKinect, this is the screen you will see. We'll really focus on ordering today. There are other videos available, or talk to your customer service representative if you'd like to learn even more about this system. So we're going to walk through 3 easy ways to complete an order today. We'll start with the most basic, starting from scratch. You've never submitted samples. We'll show you how to get your samples, your sample order put in through SampleKinect and submit it to us. Then, as you start to do more and more testing with us, we'll talk about ways to make that whole process even easier. So from the home screen, you'll see on the left here, there's a place order box. There are all your options outlined there with a quick description. We're going to start with create a new order. Again, this is when you've never done testing with us before, or you have a brand new product that you've never tested with us that you'd like to submit an order for. When you start an order, you'll need to select an account. You may have access to multiple accounts. If you only have access to one account, that'll be the only option you see. In the first screen, and what we're looking at here is what we call our guided view. When SampleKinect was first developed, there was what we call the classic view developed. So that may be what you see when you log in if you've used SampleKinect before. You can easily switch between views using the toggle button up here in the upper right. So this first step is just submitting order information. So you start with an order title that's optional if you want to make it easy for you to find this order in the future. Add a title there. All of the account information will be populated based on the account you selected. If you'd like, you can add a PO number here. That will then show up on your invoice, making it really easy to track back to the PO you want to use. You, as the user, will be listed as the submitter, and then you can add as many people as you'd like to receive the certificate of analysis. If people are users in SampleKinect attached to your account, you'll see use the Add User button. Otherwise, you can add email addresses and type them in here. There are several reporting options that you can choose here. They have quick hover over descriptions. Choosing the certificate of analysis grouping will impact how you select your turnaround time. And then if you need additional units, such as serving size units or % daily value units, you can select those using the additional units field. So once you've entered information here, you'll go on to the samples view. You can click between steps up here or click next step from the instruction box. So here's the screen where you're going to add sample information, and you'll see right now we have the option to see a whole lot of extra description fields. You can really easily close all of these if you'd want to make it easier, and that will become your default view. What's required is you have to have a unique name for each sample. If you'd like, you can also enter a lot number or any additional fields. If you are reporting in serving size units, you can report or add your serving size here. If not, you don't need to. You can also select for each sample the priority that you'd like. Our standard turnaround time for most testing is 7 to 9 business days. And then there are rush and top priority options available you can select here. Once you've added all of your sample information, if you need to keep adding more samples, if you're sending us more than one, just keep clicking Add Sample here. You'll move on to the analysis selection step. This tends to be the step where customers spend the most time and that you have to look through the most information. So we'll spend a little bit of time talking about this screen and making sure that you feel really comfortable. We've done a lot of different things to try to make this easy for you. So what you're seeing on the right side here is our test catalog. And using the search bar, you can very easily search through our entire catalog. And once you search, you'll see all of the different options for using or for that component that you search for. It searches both the title of the analysis as well as other information about the analysis. For certain samples, if you're testing a pure material, It will also flag that our monograph database may have options for you. In this case, we're going to look at some of our vitamin D methods. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about a method, you can click on this box. It will open a description box. And if you'd like to dive really deep into the technical details and make sure that the test is what you're looking for, then you can access the technical data sheet from this link. In this case, you'd see a real quick description of the method and as well as what the method might be applicable for. If you're going to continue using this test or ordering this test over and over again, you have the option to create favorites here. And then when you go into the list or the system in the future to order, you can easily go to your favorites and you'll have a customized list just for you. Once you found the test you want, you'll select it, select which samples you want to add it to, and simply add to selected samples. After you've done that, you can continue searching if you'd like to. So in this case, you'll see again, we have multiple options here for tests. Click on this to learn a little bit more. And then when you add, or when you have it ready, add it to the selected samples. Now, some of our tests have different variations. In this case, the variation is associated with the type of sample that you're submitting. If you're doing mycotoxin testing, it really helps if we know what type of sample you're submitting so that we do the testing exactly right. To guide you a little bit, it will also show you what the past use of this or what variation your account has used most frequently in the past. So even if you've never submitted testing, but some of your coworkers who use the account have, you'll get guidance there. Once you've added all of the testing that you'd like, you can also look at what will be reported for the test. So for the vitamin D test, you'll see very simply, we'll just report vitamin D. For the mycotoxin test, though, you'll see multiple components. That's what we call each of the different analytes that will be reported. So you see the entire list here. Once you've added all of the tests that you'd like, we'll simply move on to the specifications screen. And here you'll see the sample name, the test that you've added, and each of those components. You have the option to add specifications here. A target would be what you're guessing or looking for in the sample, but probably based on input or what your certificate of analysis that you're verifying says. If you have manufacturing specifications or raw material specifications that are arranged, then you can enter the minimum and maximum here, or one or the other. So if you're just looking for something that is above a minimum, you would add that here. Once you've added all of your specifications, then you'll move on to the next step. Say for a lot of our tests, adding specifications, if you have them, are helpful because they help us make sure the testing is set up correctly in the first place to get within the result range you're looking for. Next option you have, and you'll see that we're saving the order here. What you'll see here sometimes is errors and warnings. So each time you don't enter specifications, you'll get a warning. Warnings are something for you to just look at. It's for awareness. If you have errors, it means something was totally missing that we need to complete the order. You'll have the option here to continue, even if you have warnings that you've read. And here, you'll see a few different pieces of information. You'll see direction on where to ship the samples, but you'll also have the option to utilize our UPS and FedEx accounts to submit your samples, to submit your order. You can very easily schedule a pickup or in your shipment here. It takes advantage of our heavily discounted rates. So for a lot of our customers, they see a savings here. If you don't want to use the shipping, if you're not going to use our shipping account, you can skip this. You won't have created a label. What you'll do is you'll go to the last step. And this last step, it'll take a little bit, but you'll see an order summary populate over here on the right. You'll be asked to read and accept our terms and conditions. There's a link here for you And then we also ask that you download a copy of the packing list and print that and include it. So the packing list and the order summary look really similar. And the packing list has a few codes that help us process your samples as quickly as possible. So once that packing list downloads, you'll see it in the download bar here. Click this box and submit, and you'll get a copy of this order summary emailed to you that summarizes the cost of the testing and all of the testing that you've added to your samples. So you can also print a copy of that order summary for your records, or you can wait for the email and that'll come after you submit the order. I won't hit submit here since this is just a test order, but this gives you a really quick summary of how you can submit samples, access our test catalog, and make ordering really easy through SampleKinect. We walked through a step-by-step process here. We'll also show you real quickly some ways to make this even quicker. So we're going to go back to our home screen, and we showed you creating an order from scratch. You also have two options to use your previous orders to make ordering really easy. So the first option is using your previous samples. This will give you the opportunity to search through all of the samples you've ever submitted and pick and choose individual samples with all of the associated testing. We'll show you what that looks like. You can also copy an entire previous order. So if you're sending in the same set of samples over and over again, say 20 swab samples every Tuesday, then you can pull up an entire order and copy that in. So again, you'll just be asked to pick your account. Here, you'll want to put in the description of your sample. We'll look through some of our fake data here. It takes a little bit for the search to execute because it's looking through all of the testing that you've done with us. So it's going into our system and looking through all of the testing you've done and pulling up samples that match this description in any of the description fields. What you'll see here is all of the samples that have that description. You can click expand and see what testing was done on that sample. And when you select the sample, you'll have the option to add it to the box over here. And you can continue to search and select as many samples as you'd like. And when you're done, you'll click on copy selected samples to order. And it'll take you into the exact same ordering process. What's nice is that here you'll see that the samples were added. You can edit if you want. You can add lot numbers, additional descriptions, and anything else you'd like. Same as we saw when we showed ordering the first time. And then you'll go to the analysis selection, and what's already happened here is that the testing that was done on those samples before was added. You can add more tests, you can remove tests. It's just a really easy way to kind of shortcut the process. And finally, if you had specifications added to those samples, we usually don't for the samples in our internal system, those specifications would also be added here. And again, really similarly, if you copy an entire previous order, you'll select an order. So again, this is where if you have a good order title, it'll help you find the order you're looking for. And here, when you're copying an entire order, we actually ask for what options you'd like to copy over, knowing that many cases, customers are submitting the same samples, but with different lot numbers. And again, you'll see here that any samples on that order were added, along with all of the analyses or tests for that sample. So the more you use the system, the easier it becomes to use, the more testing you do with Eurofins food integrity and innovation, the easier all of this becomes. And anytime you have questions, we're always available. You can always reach out to your customer service person. They'll walk you through the system for any areas that aren't clear, that you're having a little bit of trouble with. But we really encourage you to feel comfortable playing around in the system. There's this SampleKinect submits information to our internal system, but there's nothing in the system that you can change with the work you're doing. So even if you submit an order by accident and you need to change it, or you decide you're not sending us samples, there's no issues there. So we look forward to using this system, and thanks very much.